towards, not looking at the camera, but to the other side, and chewing some snacks. And the next photograph shows 5 bullet wounds on the chest. What was he looking at? Must have been looking at those scenes of destruction, scene of human tragedy. The face demonstrated not of fear, but of anguish. And by looking at those two eyes, it still haunts many of us. Not only of Mr. Balu or Mr. Dr. Thambidurai. Many of us who have seen that photograph of Balachandran. Why was he killed? Was he killed anticipating that after 10 years or 15 years he will continue the legacy of Prabhakaran? Or was he killed in a crossfire, as the Sri Lankan government has been saying? Or is he still alive? If so, why not the Sri Lankan government produce him before the world? This question actually bothers every human being who is witness to that photograph. And that is why today, after 4 years, in between, of course, there have been calling attention, there have been discussions in this house relating to the plight of Tamils, relating the support the Indian government has provided for reconstruction of Tamil villages and townships in Jaffna Peninsula. There has been a delegation of Indian parliamentarians who have been to Sri Lanka to see how the Tamils are being resettled in Sri Lanka. But by this photograph, it has not only touched Indians, it has touched the core of heart of every human being of this world. And on this platform, India will be going to attend the International Human Rights Commission meeting in Geneva. In the wake of photograph and forensic evidence that appears to confirm a terrible war crime occurred 4 years ago, with LTTE chief Prabhakaran's innocent young son brutally killed, Sri Lankan army has lot to answer for. The least it can do is order an independent inquiry by an international panel. The world was surprised, many of us were also surprised, when the Sri Lankan government won the battle against LTTE in 2009. But Colombo achieved success not without indulging in objectionable acts. Sri Lankan Tamil civilians had to undergo an excruciating experience. They suffered indescribable miseries. Channel 4 video broadcast has shown horrendous scenes, human rights violation in the name of establishing peace. Sri Lanka is terming it as a Western self-indulgence and interventionism, and saying that this endangers, I quote, endangers peace and reconciliation in post-war Sri Lanka. This will not do. India should not accept this. The world is outraged at the behavior of Sri Lankan army, which did not think that the day one day would come that it would be held accountable for its human rights violations. Here, the story of the final days of the war has not yet been told in full, atrocious details. But we know LTTE was using human shield. Number of video clippings were shown that how carrying a white flag, groups of people were coming and exploding themselves. There were gunfire from above, from the skies, and there were guns pointed at them, moving from one place to another. That was the plight of Tamil civilians in Sri Lanka. They didn't know where to go. That was the situation in 2009, from January till May. Thousands died collaterally on purpose when bombs fell indiscriminately on them from the air as they were fired to move. They were forced to move from one place to another for their safety. They died horrible deaths, either by bomb or by disease or by starvation. After defeating LTTE in 2009, Sri Lanka government is yet to adhere to the 13th amendment, by which the Tamil-dominated areas would be provided with more power. There was a time in 1987 when the present President, Mr. Rajapaksa, had quoted India-Sri Lanka agreement and argued to provide autonomy to Sri Lankan Tamils. But now he has gone back on his words. I would only ask our foreign minister to recollect. A similar commitment was given earlier. We have to maintain good neighborly relations with our neighboring countries. But at the same time, it is diplomacy which prevails. We have to see whether the neighboring country, the government that in the neighboring country is being benevolent to us or is acting against us. This is not the forum where we will be discussing the diplomatic issues relating to different other countries, including Sri Lanka. But why Mrs. Indira Gandhi had a different opinion about Sri Lanka, and what prompted late Rajiv Gandhi to correct that decision? What prompted us to continue, and what is prompting us today to continue in a lackadaisical manner? Under these circumstances, India should not be a mute spectator. Any country, whichever it may be, should be allowed to protect its war, should allowed to prosecute its war crime and trample the minority, be it linguistic or religious. Two issues, sir, over which the Indian government should step up pressure on Sri Lanka. One is to bring to book war crimes and the broader issue of devolution of political power to the Sri Lankan Tamils. The compulsion, one can understand, of Indian foreign policy may well force it to see beyond Tamil sentiments and look at Sri Lanka as a neighbor. This was demonstrated by softening the UN resolution against Sri Lanka. But the least we can do now is push Sri Lanka towards agreeing to a fair inquiry relating to the killing of a 12-year-old boy and other war crimes. We understand, sir, Indian diplomacy is faced with a serious challenge in these circumstances. We cannot ignore the atrocities perpetrated on the Tamils in Sri Lanka. We need to take a stand also keeping in view the hard reality in Sri Lanka. The complexity of the situation call for a very measured move. There is no doubt that Sri Lankan Tamil minority needs to be guaranteed its political space, legal equality, and politicians encouraged.
Please conclude. Please conclude.
Aggressive ethnic.
No, that's right. That's right. But the time is limited. The time is limited. There are so many members. There are so many members. Time is limited.
Aggressive ethnic nationalism, especially of the kind the previous generation of Sinhalese politicians encouraged, has no place in today's world. It is important not to lose sight of the broader picture. It is important not to lose sight of the broader picture. With the Indian Ocean emerging as an area of 21st century geopolitical competition, it would be short-sighted for us to look at Sri Lanka in the context of one aspect. I need not elaborate on that, but I fully endorse on these three issues. Tamils in Sri Lanka should be living in dignity. They should be provided with political power. They should continue to enjoy their cultural identity. At the same time, sir, I would also say the war crimes that have been committed during the last 6 months of the civil war in 2009, the culprits also should be punished, and India should take a lead in that. Thank you.